Please listen carefully.
Well, hello, universe, and welcome to the Optimist Daily Update. I'm Kristy Jansen.
And I'm Summers McKay.
And we are part of the team behind the Optimist Daily, making solutions the news. We bring you reader-funded solutions news every day in order to change the tenor of news media, social media, and the direction of your day to help us all get focused on what's going right in the world.
7 days a week, we publish positive news stories written by award-winning journalists and delivered online to your inbox and through our social channels. And also, we are sharing these solutions in a commute-worthy, walk-worthy, and home office-worthy podcast. Today is Monday, the 31st of January, 2022.
No, it's not. It can't be, because 2021 still hasn't happened yet.
I mean, time is fake. Calendars aren't real. But, at the same time, we still get older.
I know. We do.
Time marches on, and I am saying farewell to 43 this week and launching soundly into my mid-40s.
40-something.
Yep. Yeah. 40-something and fabulous. Did you see, there was a thing going around on the internet about the new Sex and the City.
Yeah. What about it?
Well, that the women on Sex and the City were actually older than the women on Golden Girls.
I did not know that.
So if we think about aging and how we approach aging, 50 is the new 30. 70 is the new 50.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's all, I'm excited to get older this week. What are you excited about this week?
I'm, wow, put me on the spot. I wasn't expecting that.
You're going to have to get used to me asking what you're looking forward to.
What am I looking forward to? I'm looking forward to so many things. I mean, it's the last day of January, so we have February starting, which is just sort of mind-blowing to me. My son is taking his driving test this week. Or not his driving test. He's taking his test to get his permit, right? Mm-hmm. And that is exciting for him, but also a little bit frightening to think that he's now going to be behind the wheel. It's going to be interesting.
There's also kind of some sadness around that too, because you driving him to and from school, that's like time you get to be together.
Right.
And so there's a little like empty car nesting.
Well, it's the future thinking of that. It's still going to be at least 6 months before he gets his actual license. And
right.
He doesn't yet have a car, and that's not necessarily in the works like this year. So he's going to need rides for a little bit longer, but
okay.
Not that much longer. It's crazy how quickly they all grow up.
Yep. That's exciting and nerve-wracking. And
I'm looking forward to it. And I'm also like, wow, mind blown.
Speaking of aging, we actually have some fun stories on the Optimist Daily today about aging. So I'm going to launch into my story first. My headline reads, to support older workers, AARP and Google offer courses that build digital skills. The pandemic forced us all to adapt to a new way of living and working. And professionally, those who were able to work from home were actually more likely to stay employed. However, working from home requires honing digital skills and being truly computer literate in a technological world that is constantly changing and in flux. This has been really challenging for people who don't have tremendous digital skills. According to the Center for Retirement Research at Boston College, go BC, those who were less educated in digital areas and therefore less able to adapt were more likely to be adversely affected, economically, emotionally, professionally. The research sheds some light on how especially difficult it is for low-income workers aged 50 and up to keep up their digital skills. Kristy, you and I had to almost immediately pivot into remote working. And we were sort of prepared because we've always had a remote team when it came to writing. But it was definitely a learning curve for all of us to just suddenly be online all the time. That was it.
Right. And learning how to interact over the video conferencing software that we're using, learning how to manage teams really effectively with the hybrid or remote work environment. Mm-hmm. And now learning how to onboard new employees.
Right.
without having any in-person training or any in-person time is going to be, that's another skill that we're developing.
One of the biggest challenges many companies face is creating community in an online environment. And we are so fortunate at the Optimist Daily that we are small so that we have a very intimate team. We talk to one another. There's, a lot of familiarity and friendship. But in larger organizations and some of the organizations that have a broader workforce, creating community, creating small groups, and ensuring that everyone could work the tools was really, really difficult. The AARP Foundation and Google's philanthropic arm, google.org, are actually teaming up to offer technical and digital skills training to older workers. The initiative, which is set to commence in 8 states, Arizona, Georgia, Illinois, Louisiana, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, and Texas, in the next couple of years, will target 25,000 people with a focus on women and people of color. And the program aims to help participants find jobs, change careers, or start a new professional adventure as an entrepreneur using digital skills. They will also help older adults improve their economic security and social connections by not only teaching people how to use video conference, but also practicing it, information security, office productivity software, and just basic online job networking tools. The program will measure its success with the AARP Foundation by analyzing the results of training sessions and workshops based on how well it helped participants actually boost their incomes and improve employment prospects. As always, love the work that the AARP does. I think it's funny. They've started sending me their magazine, but I welcome it.
Well, you're getting close to that age, right?
Exactly. I'm knocking on that door. But I just think that this is so fascinating, and I love the idea that we shouldn't just do education toward younger people on how to enter the workforce, but on how to continue to evolve with the workforce. And a multi-generation workforce really creates better companies. We know that diverse workforces with multi-generation perspectives are the most successful companies.
Absolutely. So, being able to function in a computer-based world is a really important skill, and also being able to understand, to protect yourself. These kinds of skills trainings will help to breed ease and make older workers stay effective and, thriving.
Thriving. And it's not just about economic security. It's also about emotional, social engagement.
Right.
Continuing to be involved in the workforce can create a better quality of life as we age.
And we know learning new skills when you're older actually improves your brains in general. So it's it's a nice opportunity. Thanks for sharing it. So my headline reads, Restaurant Messaging Can Help Consumers Choose Plant-Based Meals. And this article actually explores the way that gentle psychological nudges that you can find on a restaurant menu actually ends up shifting consumer behavior slightly. And it's important because the world is in need of more plant-based choices. We wrote an article a few weeks ago about just making one small change by choosing less red meat can actually have a significant impact on our personal climate footprints. And no matter what your personal diet is, many agree that the livestock and meat production industry, especially when you look at the factory farming level, is not a climate-friendly practice. The food industry alone accounts for more than a third of the world's total annual planet heating emissions. And a lot of that comes from raising cattle, chickens, and pigs for consumption. We've been following the rise in plant-based diets going mainstream. We wrote about 5-star restaurants or Michelin star restaurants having, all animal-free menus. The climatarianism movement, in other words, making decisions about what food to consume based on the impact on the environment, it's kind of a new approach to what we eat. And many people are willing to switch out meat-focused meals for plant-focused ones, at least some of the time. But that doesn't mean that it comes easily or it's something we get into our habits. There's a nonprofit organization called the World Resources Institute, WRI, which conducted a multi-stage research experiment involving around 6,000 people in the United States, observing their reactions to menu descriptions, which created a nudge in one direction or another. And what the researchers found was that people who read the following statement, this is the statement. Each of us can make a positive difference on the planet. Swapping just one meat dish for a plant-based one saves greenhouse gas emissions that are equivalent to the energy used to charge your phone for 2 years. Your small change can make a big difference. So people who read that statement, they chose a vegetarian dish 25% of the time, which is more than double the rate of diners who did not have that message at all. And so this is that nudge idea. This is a behavioral economics concept. I'm really keen on behavioral economics. So.
Well, what I love about this is I think about when I sit down and order at a restaurant, I think about what I want or what I like or what I've ordered in the past. More often than not, you're kind of looking at a menu for something familiar as opposed to being beckoned into the conversation for something new or different, and all dining experiences are different. But I know that when I'm dining with my toddler and my husband, and it's just like the fastest thing, like I'll do the thing I've eaten 10 times. But if there was just that subtle reminder and then an offering of the kind of dishes that might make a better impact on the world, I would absolutely choose the vegetarian dish.
It's kind of like you can't manage what you don't measure. And so just having that little reminder, kind of like nutritional labels. I think we've written a story about putting climate labels on food, So this is a similar type of thing. This kind of nudging is similar to the increasingly common messaging that we see in hotels, for example, that suggests that guests maybe you don't need to wash your towel every time you use it. If you're staying for several days in the same hotel, just hang it up and let it dry out and use it the next day, and that saves water and that lowers the ecological impact. The other thing is how you describe a food. Like if you just say, vegetarian lasagna, maybe you can say something that's more interesting. Words really matter. How you think about things is influenced by the different descriptions that you have to draw from. And so this is essentially a great reminder that we're all living on this planet and, our choices really do matter. Even if they're drops in the ocean, we are all also the ocean.
Yes.
And whether it's just one individual or a restaurant that makes these subtle shifts, it will influence the entire industry and the entire community.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that story. Thank you for reminding us all that words matter. Now I just want veggie lasagna for lunch. So thanks for that too. We've got some other great headlines today here on this bright, chipper last Monday of January. Over 500 acres of California's redwood forests are returned to native tribes. DNA mutations are not so random after all. And on the aging beat, we've got Jonathan, the world's oldest tortoise at 190. Kristy, do we have a couple more?
Well, AI is helping scientists model the Big Bang. This is why doing the same thing over and over doesn't make you boring. We promise to keep sharing positive solution-based stories with ideas on how you can participate in the changing world to help ensure it's changed for the good. We promise to keep covering current events with accurate, legitimate sources and offering you the information we all need to chart new paths for all of us.
And if you have not, guys, it is the last day of January and I need 10 more emissaries. Come on, you can do it. 10 more emissaries. Please consider becoming an emissary on theoptimistdaily.com. And for as little as $5 a month, support reader-funded, independent journalism. All of our emissaries out there, thank you for being you. We are deeply grateful for your support. You help keep the Optimist Daily free to all who need it, supported by those who can. We'll be back in February with more solutions. Bye, guys.
Bye.